This week on Back in a Bit, we take a look at what's happening in Hong Kong
We have a look at the Sensory Underground.
and the Boomers versus USA basketball game.
Good morning, everyone. I am Lauren Devine, and this is Back in a Bit.
And I'm Cody Mathson-Lowe.
So don't forget, you can have your say about any topics we have on the show. Please hit us up on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or catch up on anything you missed at the Upstart website.
Or the Upstart YouTube channel. Now, you're not Brody.
I'm not Brody.
You've grown longer hair. What's happened?
So I am Lauren. I am the co-host of Yourself. I was away last week with tonsillitis, unfortunately, so Brody did step in for us. Thank you, Brody.
How are you feeling?
A bit
Obviously,
better.
tonsillitis sucks.
Oh, tonsillitis sucks. I couldn't swallow, couldn't breathe. It was quite a event last week. So thank you to Brody for coming in.
Nah, he did an amazing job.
I reckon so too. I might have to keep an eye on that. Might lose my job.
Nah, I think you should be fine. Anyway, Jess, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to have Lauren here at the desk with us.
Thank
We
you.
certainly missed you last week. It was great to have Brody, but it's great to see your beautiful
We'll see
face
Brody
here.
a bit later on.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what's going on in the news this week?
Well, thanks, Cody. In world news this week, NASA have released startling images of fires that continue to rage in the Amazon rainforest. While fires are common in the Amazon during the dry season, 2019 has seen more than 75,000 fires blazing, which is an 83% increase on last year and the highest since those records began in 2013. The Amazon rainforest is thought to produce 20% of the world's oxygen and is often referred to as the lungs of the world. World leaders who have expressed their concern about the fires include French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro replied, accusing critics of using the fires for political gain, and called the issue an internal matter for Brazil and neighbouring countries. Here in Victoria, a controversial law will be abolished, seeing public drunkenness decriminalised. A Royal Commission into Aboriginal Deaths in Custody recommended removing the law in 1991, but while other states updated their laws, Victoria has lagged behind. Yorta Yorta woman Tanya Day died in custody in 2017 after she fell asleep on a train and was arrested for public drunkenness. Ms. Day's family have called the move a great first step. A coronial inquest into Ms. Day's death starts today. And in America, New Jersey woman Renee Jensen was relaxing in her backyard when a mysterious package fell from the sky. On closer inspection, Jensen found none other than Pennywise the Dancing Clown, a plush toy from the film adaptation of Stephen King's novel It. Jensen called the police, who refused to touch the clown. Jensen burned Pennywise and later slept with a knife in her room, just in case.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard many plush toys falling from the sky. I do have a theory. Do you guys have any theories about what potentially could have happened?
Well, what do you think, Cody?
I reckon somebody was skydiving, right? And as you do when you're skydiving, you take your favourite plush toy. And just, as they were going out, oh no, the plush toy falls down with my satanic writing on it. Oh no, and then it falls down and, it's just a big misunderstanding. I don't know what all the hubbub is. It's simple as day.
It could just be a plug because the new It Chapter 2 comes out next week.
Yeah, it could definitely be like viral marketing, potentially.
Yeah,
just
well.
throw as many plush toys.
That poor woman, though.
I know it's certainly made me excited to see the second movie. I loved the first one, so I can't wait.
I just
Yeah.
don't think we can bring knives into the cinema. Just
Probably
not a
not.
good idea,
No.
though.
No,
No.
stab
Don't
the
recommend
movie
that.
screen, potentially.
Don't bring any dolls into cinema either. I don't think people want to be able to see that.
Too scary.
Too scary.
Anyway, you'll be staying with us soon because we're going to be talking about Hong Kong. But first, let's take a look at what's been happening in Hong Kong over the past few weeks.
This week sees protests in Hong Kong continue after 3 months of unrest. Chief Executive Carrie Lam has promised an inquiry into police abuse, but has not addressed other demands from protesters. Celebrities like Hillary Clinton have voiced their support for non-violent protest, while Yifei Liu, the star of Disney's upcoming remake of Mulan, is under fire for supporting Hong Kong police, who have been accused of brutality when dealing with protesters. Melbourne last week saw opposing groups from China and Hong Kong separated by police, with 2 men interviewed by Victoria Police in relation to unlawful assault. Organisers of the protest have issued 5 demands. Fully withdraw the extradition bill that started the unrest. Chief Executive Carrie Lam to step down immediately. An inquiry into police brutality. Protesters who have been arrested to be immediately released. And greater democratic freedoms.
Well, thank you for that, Jess. That was an awesome story. Now, we are joined by Edison Yu, our La Trobe student, but also member of the team. How are you?
Pretty good.
So, what is your experience with Hong Kong?
Actually, my experience for Hong Kong is because I'm born in 1997, and that is the same year of the Hong Kong, like to back in China, and actually, my hometown is in Guangzhou. That is really close to Hong Kong. We just take the boat by like 1 hour. We can bring to Hong Kong, and we speak same languages with each other, and we got a lot of similar with each other. My hometown in Guangzhou.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about protests in general?
I think because my country for Hong Kong is they got we call one country two system, which is like Hong Kong use their own use their own system to like control the Hong Kong, like everything over there. They got Hong Kong government, they got Hong Kong police. It's all by them own, but my country do our own system. But the Hong Kong is belong to China. This is important things. And for protests, I can say that Hong Kong can like have something argue with the government. That's fine because this is in the system. But I want to say it's like we hope for no violence, like no racism, no like spread of China. That's fine. This is all 3 like red line. We cannot cross there. Yeah.
And just what is your experience of protests?
Yeah, well, I have a strong history of kind of protest culture within my family. My extended family were very involved with the Victorian Communist Party. My great-grandfather and great-aunt and uncle were very involved with sort of helping to set that up. And yeah, my great-aunt actually met her future husband in a Young Communists program. So they were always very involved in protesting and sort of being involved in the government. But my personal involvement with protests is quite different. The most recent one I went to in Melbourne was very different to what's sort of happening in Hong Kong now. It was called the Slut Walk.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, I'd love to. It's basically about just protesting against slut shaming and rape culture. So, you know, just a lot of women and people supporting them and just wearing whatever they want and marching down the street and just saying we deserve to be here. So, you know, there's a lot of very revealing clothing and everybody's just sort of having fun and a lot of fun signs and but you know, it's an important part of the culture in Melbourne.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, the two of you. Really awesome discussion. Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
All right, so we have our next story. Jess, you visited an immersive dining experience over the weekend and you fast forward 25 years into the future.
I did.
Let's have a quick look at that.
Hi everyone, it's Jess here. I'm at Federation Square today and I will be going to an event called Sensory Underground. It's billed as an immersive dining experience and it's actually going to be held in a hidden area of Federation Square that's right underneath where I'm standing. The only way to get into it is through the end of platform 13 at Flinders Street Station. So they're calling it halfway between Harry Potter and Blade Runner. There'll be a 4-course dining experience that's based on the future of food, which is a little bit terrifying to be honest with you. I'm not really sure what to expect, but I guess we're going to find out.
I've been told to look for a woman in a black kimono holding a fluoro pink parasol. She'll guide me towards the hidden space where I'll be served food by Melbourne restaurant Tokyo Tina and see installations by visual artist Kit Webster.
what an experience. I ate bugs and they were delicious. I ate 3D printed chocolate. There were some amazing installations on the walls of video art and light art and sound that was amazing. And then discovered this labyrinthine web of tunnels that connect Flinders Street Station to Federation Square, and discovered robot theatre, which was really cool. So all in all, it was a night that I probably won't forget in my lifetime. I don't think I've ever done anything quite like that, but that's it for this evening. Back to you guys.
I'm so excited because Jess has just told me that she might be bringing in edible bugs in a future shows, so we get to try them. Quite excited.
I'm super excited and comfortable with eating bugs.
We're going to make a pact right now. If I eat one, you've got to eat one. Done.
Moving on. I don't agree with that, but...
It's done. It's happened.
Okay, well, I've been pressured into something. Anyway, this week on The Boardroom, I looked at Jon Moxley, a WWE wrestler. You're not a big fan of?
I don't know much about it, but I'm happy to learn.
Yeah, hopefully this story teaches you a little bit about wrestling, because we're going to look at long-term storytelling in wrestling. This is Jon Moxley, a wrestler known mostly for his work in the WWE as Dean Ambrose. This photo was taken right after Moxley lost his first big match since leaving the WWE. I know it might not look like much, but this photo is a prime example of how great long-term storytelling can be. I'm Cody Mapson-Lowe, and this is The Boardroom. Before we can even talk about long-term storytelling, we have to give a brief history of who this man is. Born in 1985 in Cincinnati, Ohio, Jon Moxley had a rough upbringing and used wrestling as an escape from his early life problems. Moxley was great at establishing a twisted character that had the tendencies of being a lunatic. He would do perverse things and use real-life trauma to fuel his character.
I'm just a sick guy. I'm really a dirty guy.
A hot prospect, WWE signed him and kept the lunatic character but toned it down and gave him the new name of Dean Ambrose. Flanked by two other hot prospects in Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, they debuted as The Shield. Dressed up in black bulletproof vests and saying they were fighting injustice, they became superstars in the company. All good things must come to an end, however, as they split up in 2014, only 2 years after debuting. Ambrose went on to have amazing storylines with Seth Rollins and Triple H being pushed as the lunatic fringe, an unhinged yet oddly funny and relatable fan favorite. In 2016, his hard work paid off as he won the WWE World Championship, fulfilling a lifelong dream. After a while though, things started winding down. An injury in 2017 kept him out of action for half a year. When he came back, none of his storylines were interesting, which is one of the main criticisms of WWE's writing, because they rely on long-term storytelling but recently have struggled. Having a boss in Vince McMahon who doesn't understand younger pop culture must be hard. But there is also a writing department that is constantly swapped in and out, and they heavily script segments for wrestlers. Yet, someone like Ambrose doesn't need that. He's an intelligent and creative person that can do wonders with the microphone. In early 2019, rumors came out that Ambrose was not re-signing with the WWE and letting his contract expire, with many thinking he was retiring. So with growing frustrations, it seemed that Dean Ambrose was going to ride off into the sunset, never to be seen again. Until Jon Moxley came back onto the wrestling scene. Moxley all of a sudden became the talk of wrestling. And he also joined New Japan Pro Wrestling, the top wrestling company in Japan and considered by many wrestling fans as the best company in the world. His debut in New Japan Pro Wrestling was well received as he won the IWGP United States Championship in his first match to Juice Robinson. And then he entered the G1 Climax, one of the biggest wrestling events in the world. So the story was that Moxley can't be beat. He's just too good for any Japanese wrestler, and that the sports entertainment wrestler will beat anyone. Then this match happened. His opponent was Toru Yano, somewhat the opposite of Jon Moxley's character. Toru Yano is a comedic character that uses cheating tactics to win, so all wrestling fans thought that Moxley would win the match and continue on. Wrong. This face here is the realization that his undefeated streak ends. Moxley would then lose his next 3 matches against Jay White, Hirooki Goto, and Juice Robinson, Another good example of long-term storytelling. Moxley still had a chance to win his group and go to the final, but the person standing in his way was the first wrestler he beat in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Juice Robinson. Moxley has done something incredible. All in a matter of months, he's gone from being a stale character to one of the best in the world without changing much about him. And the good thing is that there really is no end. The story keeps going until a wrestler retires. That's it for the episode. You can go check out more on Upstart's YouTube channel, where I go a little bit more detailed with Dean Ambrose and Jon Moxley. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
So you're telling me that it's all fake?
Well, yeah, I mean, the action in the ring isn't fake, but, you know, the storyline's obviously fake. I think people can't get past that, a lot of people generally.
I'm kind of mind blown there. I honestly just thought it was all like scripted and everything, but like it's all like properly choreographed and everything.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it definitely throws people off, I reckon.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. Well, somebody who isn't fake, a very real person. Annabelle Romana, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you guys?
So
Good.
Good. You're host of the Uni podcast here at La Trobe.
Yes, I am. I'm hosting all the episodes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am a fourth year Bachelor of Arts student. I haven't graduated yet. I work at the La Trobe University Student Union. I'm the General Secretary, so I manage all the clubs and societies. I'm majoring in English literature and Italian, and I'm doing art history as well. So, yeah.
Full schedule there.
Yeah, busy gal.
Yeah. So, how did you get involved in the podcast?
So the My La Trobe team contacted me to host the podcast, and obviously I was super excited. So I jumped on board straight away, and that was kind of the rest is history, I guess. I've just been hosting all of them, which is a bunch of fun.
How do they come up with the topics for each week's podcast?
They are. Well, if you guys listen to the podcast, you'll notice that they are very popular topics. So how to make friends, swap vac, how to utilize it, how to use the library. So they're topics that every student can be like, it's relatable. So that's how we came up with them. They're just quite popular, I guess. Things to know.
And what's the process behind making a podcast every week?
Well, we actually sit in this studio, which is a lot of fun, so I'm very familiar with it. We sit here and we've got a script, just like you guys, we've got a script. There's some things that we have to say, like resources and facilities, introductions of all the other panelists, and yeah, that's kind of it. We kind of do a run through beforehand and talk about things that we'd like to say. And we record 3 at a time, so it's kind of like a nice flow and effect, so we get in the habit of it, which is nice.
How do you get all the other campuses involved?
There's a segment at the end that is included. It's like a bonus snippet, which includes all the other campuses, or they go to a different one each week. So we've got ones like Alpuru-Wodonga and Bendigo and Mildura and Shepparton to involve them, because obviously it's not all about the Bundoora campus. There's different things for different campuses as well. So it's nice to include them.
Awesome.
And why is it important for students to tune in each week?
Well, we talk about a whole bunch of different things every week, and you learn a whole bunch. So even I'm learning things on it, and I'm a fourth year student, it's really nice to find out things like studiosity or peer learning advisors. There's just a whole bunch of things that you don't know that every student brings to the table. It's something different. So international students are learning things, domestic students, mature age students, so everyone can learn something from it. So that's why it's important.
So in upcoming weeks, do you have any ideas that you want to do or pitch for a podcast?
I haven't even thought about that. We kind of all bring our own flair to it, but we've got pre-picked topics, so it's nice to have some focus each week. But I'd love to have like a free reign podcast. That'd be a lot of fun. I just keep talking and talking.
So, where can students go to listen to the podcast?
They can listen to them on all like major streaming channels, like Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music. I think that's all of them. I think that's all of them. And I think they video it as well, and they chuck it on YouTube as well. So yeah,
awesome.
Find them on all major streaming devices and channels.
Well, we'll be definitely giving a listen. Pick up some
Oh,
of those
thanks,
tips
guys.
for the future weeks.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Love being on it.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
We might get you in later on and
that'd be
get
great.
some more tips from you.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be so much fun.
I definitely need it.
Me too.
Anyway, last week was the Boomers vs. USA basketball game. Brody Styles went to both games, and he investigated why some fans were maybe not necessarily too happy with the showcase.
On Thursday, the Australian Boomers took on USA Basketball in one of 2 games at Marvel Stadium to prepare for the FIBA World Cup. The event had been heavily criticised after several NBA All-Stars, including Australian Ben Simmons, pulled out of the game. The criticism was speculated to cause a loss of numbers at the game. Despite this, thousands of people still flocked to the event Thursday night.
I think it definitely had a little bit of an effect. People wanted to come out and see the big stars, especially Ben Simmons play for the Boomers. I think Ben Simmons was probably the biggest pullout. We were expecting a lot of the American stars to pull out, and it probably made it a close game. But I think lots of people. I still went. I was super excited to go, so I still went and had a good weekend around it. So definitely an effect, but not a major one.
In the first game on Thursday, the Boomers fell to USA Basketball with the final score being 102-86, with 23 points coming from Boston Celtics star Kemba Walker, while Chris Goulding put up 19 points for the Boomers in a solid shooting performance.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game. It was a bit disappointing the Boomers couldn't get up and sort of got blown away in the second half.
But despite the big loss on Thursday night, Saturday saw Game 2 tip off at 2 p.m, with families from all across the country coming to watch the event. With a crowd attendance of over 52,000, the crowd was much more electric Saturday afternoon and picked up as the game began to get tighter and the Boomers found their rhythm against the world's best team.
Huge, a bit slow to start off with in the first couple of quarters, but then heading on to the fourth, everyone got up and about, especially when Paddy started, doing what he does.
Yeah. Despite the close game, fans still had time to enjoy some entertainment.
If you don't know the words here on the screen,
the event was a huge success, especially when the Boomers managed to upset USA Basketball on Saturday, winning 98-94 on the back of 30 points from Paddy Mills, beating Team USA for the first time in Australian history. Fans also got to see their favourite players live.
It's got to be Paddy or it's got to be Joe Ingles handle the ball.
For others, it was the chance to see the USA superstars that really got them engaged.
I think can't go past Kemba Walker. He was just super smooth. Boomers couldn't stay in front of him. Lit it up from the floor, yeah.
The Boomers will begin their FIBA World Cup campaign on the 9th of September, taking on Canada.
Awesome. Brody and Lexi are joining us. How are you guys?
Good, thank
Good,
you.
doing well.
So, Boomers versus USA. I was at the Saturday game. We got a win, so obviously I have to represent the team. Got this hat, $40. Not cheap, but
worth it.
Sure.
You get to wear it for the show.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more sentimental value now of the win.
Absolutely.
How did you take the 2 games? Obviously, the first game was a loss. Second game was a win.
So for me, the first game on Thursday night, it was a good game for the first half, obviously, and then the USA pulled away. The crowd on Thursday seemed a little bit flat. I'm not sure why or what was going on, but I feel like they didn't buy into a lot of the entertainment that was being provided, which was interesting. But on Saturday, it was like the complete opposite. Like maybe it's because there was more younger families there because there wasn't a work night or something. But yeah, the crowd on Saturday was so good. They bought into everything, and it was really loud. It was great to be there.
And I think with the Saturday game, one of the big talking points, obviously, America hasn't lost in 13 years. First loss in 13 years. Do you reckon that's because of Australia being really good, or maybe America not being that great?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say. Like, I don't want to, bag out any of the teams here, but, USA were obviously missing some players. Australia was missing some players. So the FIBA World Cup's going to be really hard to judge on where countries are at. But I think come the Olympics next year, that's when we're going to see what's going to happen in international basketball.
Yeah, I think the World Cup definitely sort of gets a lot less star players from America.
Absolutely.
But Paddy Mills,
what a man. 30 points, 30 points and a big fourth quarter to really get us over the line. And, every time USA looked like they were going to come back, Paddy Mills stepped up, hit a big shot and just shut them down. It was really good to watch. Yeah, and it was a great experience. And I think despite the seeding and despite all the criticism, the event went quite well. So, yeah, it was a good experience.
How were the seats, boys?
They were good.
Yeah.
My seats were good. I definitely know a lot more people closer than where I was sitting had bad seats. just because of the way it was layouted. But
Yeah, and for me, I was like right at the top in like the nosebleeds, and I thought it was great. Like you could see everything, nothing was blocking your view. Yeah, I can't complain.
So it was only Russell Crowe that was angry.
Apparently.
Lexi, I hear there's some big news in netball. What's going on?
Yeah, so we had the last round of Suncorp Super Netball on the weekend, where Sunshine Coast Lightning have been dubbed the minor premiers after finishing top of the ladder and beating the Adelaide Thunderbirds by 21 goals. So a pretty good win. And then the New South Wales Swifts came in second, but they only just scraped past my beloved Queensland Firebirds. We came so close to doing back-to-back wins, but it was actually a really good match to watch. But one of the highlights of the round was the veteran in Giants captain, Kim Green. They won, which meant that they were so close, they were just touching distance of the finals, and Magpies had to play Vixens and win convincingly against the third place Vixens to get into the finals, and they managed to pull off a Stephen Bradbury and do it. So they spoiled King Green's chances of having that fairy tale ending to a magnificent career that includes like Diamond's captaincy and vice captaincy, playing 74 tests for Australia, and captaining the Swifts and Giants since 2012. To 2016, then Giants onwards from that.
Huge idol.
Yeah, no, definitely one of mine's, and actually a really nice person. Like I interviewed her once, and she was so kind. So
Awesome. I do know that there's a little bit of controversy though with the final scheduling. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so the Magpies have to play the Vixens again at not the Melbourne Arena, not Rod Laver Arena, and not Margaret Court Arena, but at the State Netball Hockey Centre. Oh. So it's a stadium about a third of the size, and the reason behind that is that eSports snuck in and stole those three venues from us.
So where can fans go to watch the game? Because it's only half the size.
Yeah,
There's so many people who want to go and watch it.
Yeah, so it is really unfortunate. There's about 3,000 seats available at the State Netball Hockey Centre, which is, the Vixens have more members than they have in seats available. So really, if you are just someone who watches netball here and there, I don't think that your chances are very good of actually being able to see a semi-finals elimination. But yeah, definitely on television, that's where I would look to some first.
Yeah, because when you told me about it, I've done work there before, and I was looking, and I'm like, I don't know, it's. I just don't think there's going to be enough seats there.
Yeah, definitely going to have to dust off the cobwebs. Like, they tried to sell it as this, we're coming back home, this is where Sherelle McMahon retired, this is where we're meant to be. And the fans are kind of like, oh, but is it? Like, it's kind of really disappointing. But it is really unfortunate for a sport that wants to be a growing sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, NFL. My fantasy football team has been messed up, unfortunately. Can you tell me why my fantasy football team has been messed up?
Andrew Luck, the Colts starting quarterback, has retired due to being mentally worn down from just like a list of continuous injuries. It is really sad to see. He struggled with injuries like the last 3 seasons. And last season was the first time he played a full 16 games in almost 3 years. And it is really sad. So he was 5th in passing yards last year, which is, incredible. And it leaves the Colts in such a hole going forward. Quarterbacks aren't easy to find. And it's going to be a real struggle for them after being a playoff team last year.
And, I know he's a top 20 quarterback, probably in his prime of his career, so it's a bit sad that, unfortunately.
It is sad, and for anyone that's, watched clip, he's a really good guy. Like, he's so funny. He's always congratulating the other team if he gets tackled. He's like, oh, yeah, good tackle, which is kind of weird, really, but it was always funny to watch. So
self-deprecating, I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good bloke.
Yeah, that's it. It's a big loss for the league, unfortunately.
I'm sorry about your fantasy football team.
Yeah, and, condolences there, mate. That's rough.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really awesome discussion. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for having me this week.
Yeah, glad to have you. Glad to have you on the show. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. If you want to catch us on social media, you can go to Upstart's YouTube channel, Upstart's Twitter, Instagram, and also our Facebook page, as well as our website.
Well, I've been Lauren Devine.
Yeah, I've been Cody Matheson-Lowe.
And we'll be back in a bit.
Awesome. See you later.